Okay, so for this problem we're given a logarithmic function and we're asked to find the domain, the range, and any x and y intercepts if they exist. Alright, so and the first thing is the domain. So with a logarithm, for the domain we know that we cannot take the logarithm of a negative or a zero value in here. So the domain, I always want to start with looking at what is inside the logarithm, right? The argument of our logarithmic function, and take that, whatever the quantity is here, the expression, I should say, and solve the inequality that it is greater than 0. And so x minus 1 must be a positive number, so it should be greater than 0. Okay, so if we do that, here we have log of x must be anything greater than 1. And that would be our domain. Right? Okay, notice 1 doesn't work, right? That would get 0, so we would get something that is undefined. Right? But other than that, if we go to the right of that, right, 1.1, that would work, that'd be fine. Right? Any value greater than 1. So our domain is 1, not inclusive of 1, up to infinity. Now for our range, right, so here all values would still be attained, right? Even though this shifts it here to the right, right? It'll still be increasing type function, right? This plus 1 really doesn't affect the range at all. It kind of shifts it up, but we know that it attains all the values, right? As we get closer to 1 here, and let's get closer to 0, it gets more and more, goes downward, right? So it goes down to negative infinity for the range, and then as we go away from 1, right, it grows, not very quickly, but it still grows, and it will, and it grows towards infinity, right? So the range will be all real numbers, right? So that doesn't change. Okay, so now let's take a look at the other quantities, the x and the y intercepts. Okay, so for the x-intercept, that would happen when y is 0, so we're looking for log base 4 x minus 1 plus 1 equals to 0. And this would be for my x-intercept. Okay. Alright, and then here we have log x minus 1 base 4 equals to negative 1. Alright, and then using our exponents here, or the definition of our logarithm, we have an exponent of base 4 raised to the negative 1 equals to x minus 1. Alright, and that's just the application of what the what is the how we define the logarithm, right? And now we can just solve for x. Right? For the negative 1 is the reciprocal, right? 1/4 equals to 1. Add 1 to both sides, and we get x equals to 5/4. So our x-intercept is 5/4. So, right, our x-intercept. Now for our y-intercept, that would mean we'd let x equal to 0. But we do have a problem when that happens. When we put h of 0, we get log base 4 of negative 1 plus 1. This is not defined. Right. And when something like that occurs, what this is telling me algebraically is that I never cross the y-axis. So the y-intercept, we say, does not exist. Okay, and that's how we go about finding domain, range, and x and y intercepts if they exist, which we see in some cases they will not.